created by MindSticks Foundation Trust.
Welcome, students. In today's explainer, we're going to dive into a very important topic, the modern challenges to our social health. We've broken this complex subject down into 5 clear sections: defining social health, factors disturbing social health, the burden of mental stress, the trap of addiction, and finally, technology and communication media. Let's get started.
First up, Section 1, Defining Social Health. So, what do we actually mean when we say social health? Well, it's not just about washing your hands and keeping physically clean. It's essentially the ability of a person to establish relationships with other people and to adapt one's own behavior according to changing social conditions. You see, it is equally about your personality, your trust in others, your respect and acceptance for fellow human beings, and how well you can adjust to your surroundings.
Moving on to Section 2, Factors Disturbing Social Health.
Now, there are so many elements in our daily life that can either build up or completely break down this well-being. Observe this chart carefully. Notice how social health sits right at the center of a very large web. Everything matters here, from satisfying basic needs like food, clothing, and shelter to your education, your financial status, and job opportunities. Even your physical surroundings, like having proper transport facilities, clean drinking water, toilets, and access to gardens and playgrounds, all of this directly impacts our social health. If a society cannot provide these basic things, well, the social health of its people will naturally suffer. Next is Section 3, the burden of mental stress.
Looking at the direct causes of social illness in our modern society, we see that children today are facing unprecedented loneliness and stress. Why is this happening? Well, due to the shift towards nuclear families and parents staying outdoors continuously for their jobs, children often lack that traditional family support system. On top of that, there is immensely high competition in education, employment, and business. We also face deeply ingrained social issues like gender inequality. In many families, unnecessary bindings are placed on girls while boys are given excessive freedom. This discrimination, combined with our daily exposure to increasing disorder, crime, and violence, places a very heavy, silent burden of stress on our youth.
Furthermore, a truly healthy society simply must care for its most vulnerable members. Neglecting those suffering from chronic diseases like AIDS, TB, leprosy, and mental health disorders is a tragic reality we see around us. This ignorance and total lack of empathy directly lead to an increase in old age homes, and it causes severe harm to our collective social health. Honestly, when we abandon our elderly and our sick, we fail as a society. Let's turn to Section 4, the trap of addiction. This is a very dangerous trap, particularly for adolescents. Driven heavily by peer pressure, teenagers sometimes prefer the company of friends over the guidance of their parents and teachers. They end up trying tobacco, cigarettes, or alcohol, either to imitate their elders or as a completely false symbol of a high standard of living. But the consequences are absolutely devastating. These intoxicants permanently damage the nervous system, the muscle system, and the heart. Sometimes errors in fermentation produce fatal, poisonous liquor that causes mass tragedies. And most importantly for you as students, addiction hinders brain development and completely paralyzes your ability to memorize information. Ultimately, the addicted person loses their basic ability to think rationally. Finally, we arrive at Section 5, Technology and Communication Media. Now, this final topic is something that affects almost every single home today. We're talking about the excessive, unnecessary, and irrational use of modern technology and communication media. I really want you to observe these two situations very closely to see just how drastically our lifestyle has changed in this modern era. Let us compare the two. Back in 1998, elders had to forcefully pull children inside from the playground, scolding them, saying, "Come for study," because children were just so engaged in outdoor physical activities. But look at 2017, and really our situation today. It's the exact opposite. Mothers literally have to pull children away from their mobile phones and televisions, pushing them out the door and saying, "Go to play." It is a complete reversal of our natural habits.
You know, this irrational screen time is not just a bad habit, it's a severe addiction. People start experiencing tiredness, headaches, insomnia, forgetfulness, ringing in the ears, and joint pains. There are major vision problems caused by radiation too. And here is a very serious scientific fact for you. Cell phone radiation penetrates the bones of children much more effectively than it does adults. Mentally, internet addiction makes people solitary. They can't establish harmonious relations with their relatives. It leads to the development of extreme selfishness and autism-like tendencies, making individuals entirely insensitive towards others who are in need.
Just consider these specific, destructive habits we see every day. On one side, we see a boy eating his meal entirely glued to his cell phone, completely disconnected from his family and the very food he is consuming. On the other side, we see an alarming, even fatal trend, people risking death just to catch the perfect cell phone selfie. People are falling into deep valleys, drowning in oceans, or getting crushed under trains. We have to ask, is this rational behavior for an intelligent human being?
And we really must critically ask ourselves about this next point. What has happened to our social health when there is actually an increasing competition to record and upload videos of a tragic road accident on social media instead of offering a helping hand to the bleeding victims? What is the mentality of such people? When chasing internet views becomes more important than saving a human life, we are absolutely facing a severe crisis in our social health.
So students, I leave you with this practical homework assignment to reflect upon today. Map out the 24 hours of your daily routine. Create 2 categories: the time you spend truly taking care of your holistic health, meaning your physical, mental, and social health, versus the time spent on screens or other distractions. Are you building real relationships, or are you just isolating yourself? Truly ask yourself if you are dedicating enough time to become a socially healthy, responsible individual in our modern world. Think about it.